Hey, welcome to BSP TV. Today, I'm really honoured to have with me Dr. Peter Ellis. Sorry for forgetting the doctor. You worked very hard for that.
For both of them. I've got two doctorates.
There you go. Worked very, very hard for your doctorates. Your most recent one you only just finished, and you actually did a study about how small business grow. That's correct?
That's correct. Okay, that's correct, because everyone's been saying, look, there are loads and loads of definitions for businesses. In fact, there's thousands of them in the same country. And America's got 800 definitions. It depends on where you are. It depends what industry you're in. They're not definitions. All they are, it's comparisons of different sizes. There has never been an actual definition. And so the World Bank asked me to do a definition, and that's what my PhD was about. I finished it last year. I finished it last year, but I only got the certificate last week. So I'm a bit chuffed about that, or pleased. Essentially, what I've done is I've taken all the information that's been out there, so I didn't make it all up myself, and I put it together to get all the pieces of the jigsaw and make the picture, basically. And that's what it is. So everyone's really quite excited about that. But I learned something even more exciting, which no one has ever considered before. And that's this, that you don't go from micro to small to medium. You go from micro, and then you learn how to come out of micro, and you may stay there. But then if you want to go further, you have to learn how to go into small.
And you and I have had some really interesting conversations on this, but we're not going to talk about that today, because that's a subject for another day. And so I'm really particular the fact that you've got a really exciting program that is talking about the different dashboards or instrument board that you need to know and need to appreciate, so that you can actually help drive your business out. Now, before we get into that, though, I want to talk about why it's important to even worry about this stuff right now.
The thing is, with this pandemic and with the whole world being put on hold, once we start getting back in, there's going to be a lot the same. People are still going to be making coffee, making collars and shirts, and
I hope they're still going to be making coffee.
That stuff's still going to happen. But the fact is, the majority of private sector businesses, which is about 99% of all private businesses, have got to not only start up in business, but if they want to very quickly get back on board, they have to say, okay, let me see what the business is doing and how it's going. And they don't know where to start. And what I'm putting in place is a very simple, straightforward, easy way that anyone can look at it and say, I don't have to be an accountant, I don't have to be a bookkeeper, but I know exactly what's going on. I can make decisions.
And that's a really important thing, is that so many times people get hung up with what they don't know already, and it's important to appreciate that you don't know stuff. But I actually had a client the other day that I was sitting down on my business coaching side, and I had a client sit down and say, I think I need to do an accounting course. And I said, really? No, I don't think you do. This person is a very, very smart person. They've taken their business from startup, they're over a $3 million turnover. They're a very smart business person, and accounting is the last thing they need to do, because that's going to get in the way of them running a great business.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. They don't need to be an accountant. They don't even need to be a bookkeeper, but they do need to know what the accountant and the bookkeeper are doing, because they are not running your business. And if you let them do that without knowing what's going on, in effect, they are running your business, and you are only working in it. You're not working on it. You're not in control.
She is actually in control of a business and doing a very, very smart job of it. But I'm going to send her along to this course. I'm really excited about this course that you've got. We were talking earlier. It's kind of like if you grow up and people, when you have a business, if you compared it to learning to drive, when you learn to drive, people don't just throw you the keys of the car and go, see ya. Like these days, you have to do 100 hours plus with somebody sitting next to you doing that. But in business, you just on your merry way.
Absolutely right, and that's one of the biggest problems. And what I do with my course is compare it all the time, as you say, to learning to drive. And we start with the absolute basics of learning to drive. That is just understanding the indicators, the petrol gauge, the oil gauge, and the water, and the tires, and so on and so forth. Just understanding those things. As you develop your business, as you develop your driving, you do more advanced activities and learn more about the vehicle. But when you're driving a car, you don't have to be a mechanic, you don't have to be an engineer, but you do have to know what's going on. And although they seem simple and straightforward and you don't even think about it, if you weren't told about it, your car would break down, it would run out of petrol, something would go wrong. And you say, well, no one told me that. No one told me about the speed limit.
So I've got a really funny story about that. I had my ex-wife. These two stories might explain why. One car, like she had smoke coming out of the bonnet, and so she just pulled over to the side of the road, and in a fit of panic, the smoke kind of dissipated. So she jumped on a bus that stopped to help her out and came home. Later that night, we had a call from the local police station telling us that our car had been burnt and it was left on this bridge. And she said, yeah, that's where I left it. So the fire reignited after she left it. So, she firebombed our own car. Complete accident. Anyway, when you don't understand the instruments and what they're telling you, you can run into all sorts of trouble. Your car can burst into flames on a bridge and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So what I'm trying to do is just let people know that when they start up again, which they will, that if they have this knowledge, which is very simple, very straightforward, easy to understand, it'll make a massive difference to their profitability and make a massive difference to them being in control of their own business. And once you know this stuff, you won't realize how much you were not in control before you knew this.
So you actually look at, I'm guessing you're looking at, we were talking earlier, you do look at a little bit about your profit and loss and also a little bit about your balance sheet and understanding a couple of key ratios and things like that, but not to get overwhelmed by these different things in the meantime. Make sure that your accounts are up to date and they're reconciled and all that sort of stuff. But the most important thing is to actually remember to keep watching the gauges as you're driving.
Well, if you watch the gauges, you know how much money you've got. You know how much money potentially you can get when the money comes in. You know where you've spent your profit. And why haven't I got any money? I'm making all this money. It's all there. And once you have it pointed out to you, and that's all there is to it, having it pointed out to you, you say, okay, well, I know this and I know that. I know what I can spend. I know when I can spend it. And I know what I have to do to have enough to be able to spend. It's really very simple and straightforward, and anyone can do it. The interesting thing is that the more successful people are no smarter than any of us. They just know this stuff.
Well, they're just more diligent on certain things. So obviously cash flow is king, and that's one of the key things you focus on.
Oh, definitely. Cash flow is very important. And these activities show you what's happening with the cash flow. And one of the most important things will be seen is how to set out your profit and loss, which we won't go into today. But once that's being done, you will be able to manage your cash flow because you'll see what's going on. There's so many clients I've been to that when we have a look at their profit and loss, they just have a look at how much money they got in, how much money they got left, and they say, oh, well, that's where I'll make my decisions. So, but what about all the stuff in the middle? Oh, that's for the bookkeeper. No, that's for you.
Absolutely. And it is so that you can make great decisions. Now, this actually course, your Accounting at a Glance course, part of a much bigger program. But you're giving this Counting at a Glance course for absolutely free.
Absolutely free, so you can see how straightforward and simple it is to establish whether or not you want to take it further, which I'm sure you will.
And so what are the 3 things that this course is going to give people?
This course is going to be enable you to know where your money is, what you owe. It will show you how to look at your business in order to make decisions. And that's a really, really important thing, because once you know where your money is, what money's coming in, how long you've got to wait for it, you can make decisions. And the most important thing that it does allow you to do is to say, right, now I can plan. Now I can work on my, it doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you know this, you can work on your business.
So it can help you make informed decisions, which is what I really love. So it's, hey, where your money is, what you've got, where it is in the pipeline, what you owe, and making sure that you can make informed decisions. That sounds like a really good thing. I'm a reformed accountant, and I'm quite keen to have a look at this video series. So when does it come out?
Well, the first version comes out right now. So when you let me do it, I'll put it onto the site so anyone can just click on it and have a look.
That'd be fantastic.
Easy.
Yeah. So what we'll do is when we finish up here, Dr. Peter will put comments in the screens below. I'll tell you all the different places you need to go to do that, because there's 3 different places. And then what we'll do is I'd love to later on get somebody to come in after they've gone through this and give a little bit of feedback.
I'd love that too, because in order for me to improve, the feedback's really important.
Absolutely. Look, thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving me your time today and helping people out. Understand that there are some different things that we need to have a look at so that we can stay on course and make sure that we can make well-informed decisions about our business. So thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, Peter.